Hello, 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 intuitive art friends. Hello, love friends. So excited to be with you today. Carrie is here. She'll be on in a second. So today we're going to talk about holding yourself back. This is a question I get asked all the time. How do I stop holding myself back? Why am I sabotaging myself? Why am I not doing what I know I should be or want to be doing? And it goes through my head too. It's not just other people. I think about it once in a while. Like I- I'm so in love with life. There's so much I want to do. There's so much I currently do. And sometimes it gets a little overwhelming when I'm not in alignment. And I think, oh, you know what? Why am I doing this? Why do I keep holding myself back? And it's not a fair question. I did title this live stream, this talk, why do how to stop holding yourself back? But it's the wrong way to look at it in my mind, because the only reason we're thinking that is because we're not in alignment and we're not appreciating where we are right now. And to even go down that question hole brings us in the wrong direction. It's focusing on the wrong things, because of course there are going to be a lot of things in our lives that aren't perfect, but those aren't the reasons why we're not happy right now. It's always us. It's always that we're just not looking in the positive direction. And when we're in that moment where we think we're not good enough, we're not doing enough, we're not being enough, we're not having enough, the tendency is to perpetuate that and to sink deeper and to want to know, why is that true? Why am I not doing it? Why am I not good enough? But it never turns out well. You're just digging yourself a hole. So today we're going to talk all honestly about all of it. We're not perfect. I go to that place once in a while too, and it's never fun. And Carrie usually hears about it because I'm on Marco Polo. Like, Carrie, what's wrong here? But it's always us, which means that we can turn it around and we can climb out of the hole, back up onto dry land, looking around, seeing how blessed we are. And then from there, getting the inspirations to how to make those next dreams come true. Because like I always say, right now is something you probably asked for. So let's celebrate right now. Let's celebrate where we are and expect more, because that's really how we get to the more. It's like, wow, look at what I've created now. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, so don't even worry about that. But look what I have now, and I'm excited for what's next. So, hi, Guillaume. Thanks for saying hi. If you're here, feel free to chat with us. We love including your comments and your questions, even if you just want to tell us where you are right now. And yeah, so Carrie, welcome.
Well, hey, everybody. And I am going to start with a little bit of self-judgment here, because I came from my workout and then I was on a Zoom call before this. And I don't know if you guys know, but in Zoom, you can put filters on your face to smooth out the wrinkles. You can even put makeup on. So I was just looking at myself for an hour on a Zoom call, feeling pretty good. And then I came here and we're on a different platform and I'm like, oh, girl, you look like you just worked out. So everybody who's watching us on YouTube, yes, you're lucky you can't smell me. And I wanted to talk about two things that you said, Rachel. One is the word "and," right? Oh, it's my new fave. I adopted it, I don't know how many years ago, where I was like, okay, I'm going to stop saying yeah, but, and I'm going to say yes, and. And I'm going to give you some random comments here, and then things hopefully will come together. So, hey, Zach. Hey, Phyllis. Okay. While you were talking, you said something about looking at things in a positive light. And I just earlier today drew this card that says, stand in unwavering optimism. Right? I know. I was like, yes, yes. That, and these are all the synchronicities. I'm reading this book right now. It's called Bravey by Alexi Pappas. I think I've told you about this, Rachel. You would love her. You would love her. And I'm on this chapter that she talks about what if we could be as kind to ourselves as we are hard on ourselves. So recognizing like we are gonna be hard on ourselves. There's going to be that. I mean, we're all working on getting, like Rachel and I, that's our like life's mission, right? That's all we're doing is like self-love, like, and we still get hard on ourselves. And can we stand in unwavering optimism? Yeah. One way to do that is when we are hard on ourselves. I'm yawning about it. Like, can we be equally kind? Can we, and when you and I talk about it, we talk about that in terms of calibrating, right? But can we be equally kind? So maybe I just threw out like a bunch of ping pong balls because I missed the first minute of this call. So I missed like what you were saying. But as you were talking, those were the things that came up for me. And I just want to say hey to everybody. I love the chat is so active today. So keep them coming. It validates us. That's it. Comments, Rachel?
Yeah, I just did a meditation earlier because things in my, so let's start from the beginning. Carrie and I are all about raising our vibration because what we really want when we think we're holding ourselves back is to be in alignment with ourselves, to live our potential, right? Like there wouldn't be a gap there if we didn't think we were capable of so much more, which is an amazing thing to know that you're so much more. And when we feel bad about that is when we're looking away from that, when we're looking away from ourselves. And so when we can get on board, when we can be kind to ourselves, when we can appreciate where we are, there's a ripple effect that happens. We upgrade. We have an aligned up level. And so you're going to feel better. First of all, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel more optimistic. You'll feel more creative. You'll feel more ease in your day and like you have more time. And then like you will change. You'll start seeing yourself in the mirror differently. You'll start saying nicer things to yourself. You will do more in your day that brings you joy. And then your outer world will change. So the people around you will either match you or fall away. More synchronicities will happen. Like somebody will give you a recommendation for a book that you've been wanting to read that you didn't know the title of or something like that. Or at the library, what you wanted will become available, or, you know, that's like a really specific example, but things will start to happen that will show you the magic of the universe and the magic of you as a creator. So that's an amazing thing, that ripple effect of alignment. And that's what you get when you take the focus off of why am I holding myself back and putting it on, oh yeah, everything in my life is me. I just did this earlier. So yeah, I did a meditation earlier and things are a little shaky right now in a couple areas in my life. And I reminded myself, oh yeah, everything's me. My vibration dictates what shows up for me in my outer world, including how people act and everything. What money comes to me, all the things are me. And I thought, instead of that being a negative, instead of that being, well, I got to whip myself into shape and I got to buckle down and I have to get to work and I got to fix these problems. Luckily, I have a momentum going that's different from that. And I started saying, oh, well, thank goodness it's me because I love me. And because it's all me, I know things are going to work out. And because it's me, I know like the best is yet to come and things are just going to keep getting better and better. And I hadn't had that specific self-talk ever. Like it felt automatic. It felt like, oh, wow, I have more positive momentum than I even knew because that's what's just coming out of me in this moment. And luckily, I was able to give myself those, it was only 10 minutes, those 10 minutes of presence on a couple of days where I was feeling a little rocky. So it doesn't even take that much effort, but I think consistency in awareness, how am I showing up for myself? What am I projecting into the future? Am I expecting things to go wrong? Am I treating myself like a little workhorse instead of like a divine multidimensional being? So Carrie's, what was it? Unrelenting optimism. I always say relentless positive focus, like same thing. Just remind yourself that it's alignment that makes the world go around and it creates what you see. So being nice to yourself is a big part of that.
So it was stand in unwavering optimism. But you just said something that people are always like, I'm cautiously optimistic. And I'm like, stop it right now. I want reckless optimism. I don't want crazy, like people are like, I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm like, get them way up, like get those hopes high, right? Because it is all you. So if you're cautiously optimistic, right, you get a very different result than if you are like unwavering optimism. You are like, I mean, I don't know. I use reckless because it's the opposite of cautious in my mind. I don't actually mean be reckless. I don't know. I just like
kind of like trusting. Like
yes.
Cautious is not so trusting, and you just mean like, yeah, of course. Like what else?
Yeah, leap of faith. Like, go for it. Because ultimately, I had a friend who taught me this, and this is not where I thought we were going, but it never is. Who was like, tempering your own feelings, like that cautious optimism, it doesn't help, right? Like it actually would help you if you could let yourself feel it fully. So same with like being disappointed, it was like, I'd be like, try and justify, or all it was doing was like, I mean, I'm disappointed, but da, 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 and like try and like actually talk myself out of being where I was. So I was avoiding, I like wasn't looking, right? Instead of just like owning this is hard, or that sucks, or like whatever it was, so that I could work my way up the ladder, right? You got to know where you are. You have to know where you are so that or be honest about where you are, right? So you can move up. So just like Rachel saying like, man, this freaking sucks. Good news, it's all me. Good news, right? But like, yeah, that's what I'm feeling about that. And then I wanted to talk about go all the way back to the theme because I have a story there. But what did you have, Rachel?
Well, I was just watching a vlog yesterday of someone Carrie and I both watch once in a while, Colleen Ballinger. She has a toddler.
Yes, I was going to talk to you about this. Okay, let's talk about it now.
So funny. So she was saying that at first I guess it was her podcast or something. I don't know. Anyway, her kid was just being himself and expressing his feelings. And at one point her partner said like that he was the most like emotionally unstable person. I guess that's what like the terrible twos are supposed to be about. But then he recalled, like, you know what? He's probably the most emotionally stable person in the house because he actually expresses his feelings. And Colleen was like, we always get him to just like say how he feels and be honest and, express it. And we've all witnessed this. Like kids can just like melt down for a moment, but then the next minute they're fine. There's no residue. There's no resentment. They just get over it because they fully express themselves. So is that what you were going to say?
Not at all, but I was going to talk to you about the ghost thing, but no, I agree 100%. And I actually, when my kids went to preschool, I'm so grateful. This is how the universe has your back. I didn't even really know that I needed my kid to go to preschool. Like I was pregnant with my second. She was about 2. It was in this phase of life, actually exact same phase that Colleen is in, only she's pregnant with twins. But If you don't watch this, sorry, because we're about to go deep into anyways, I had a friend who like was sort of like the alpha in my life at that point. Like I was in survival mode. Like I just barely had my nose above water. And she was like, we're doing this. And so she's like, it's time for our kids to go to preschool. And I found us one. And I was like, awesome, thanks. So I landed at this preschool that was so amazing. The things that happened in my life and what I learned in that preschool has like, I mean, it is crazy what has happened in my life because I landed at that preschool. And I say I landed there as much as my children landed there. But regardless, one of the things that they taught was about this. So it was a co-op preschool. So it was parent participation, very hippie-ish, parent participation preschool. And then we had to go to like classes to learn how they wanted us to interact with the kids in the classroom so that like when we talked to little children who were in the middle of a meltdown or who were fighting over toys, that we didn't solve the problem for them, that we didn't like just assert our adultness on their feelings. And I mean, it helped me reparent myself so much. But one of the coolest things that you learn if you do this with little kids is like they are flipping out. And their flipping out tends to make us as adults like uncomfortable, right? Especially moms tend to like feel like the world is judging us if our kids are acting out. And they were like, yeah, just give their feelings a name, right? They don't know how to like, so they're flipping out and you can be like, you really wanted that toy. Rachel took your toy and that made you angry. And they're like, yeah. And then they run away and they're happy. And it was like, oh crap, I don't need to create drama. I could just say, Rachel took my toy and that made me angry. And then if they still want the toy, right there, then you can be like, they're like, yeah, she took my toy and I really want that toy. And like, and then Rachel's like, but you walked away from it. And then like, literally you just say it back calmly. And then sometimes you may have to like, well, would you be okay with this? And it was like craziness how you could, it wasn't craziness. It was amazingness. But point is, it helped me look back. The ease with which little tiny people could feel, I don't think healing is the right word, but like just allow whatever they were feeling to go because they had named it and looked at it and like nodded at it and then chosen. I think that's the other thing, right? Is like, okay, that was angry. Now I'm going to dance, right? Like it was amazing. And it has been so helpful in my life and how I approach it. And I think about our topic, right, is why am I holding myself back, right? We hold ourselves back from the tantrum because we feel like it's not appropriate. We feel like we're not allowed, right? There's all sorts of reasons why we're holding ourselves back. Well, actually, before I move, because I'm just going to change, I'm going to take a left-hand turn, Rachel. Did you have anything else on toddlerdom?
No, but I love this idea of like stop holding yourself back from the tantrum, because I had a tantrum recently. I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, but like I was fighting myself on a move, an upgrade in a bunch of areas in my life. There was a theme there, but I don't want to, it had to do with people, so I don't really want to talk about it because I love all these people, but it wasn't working. And I like kept making excuses for why it was working and why it should work and why it's okay. And I realized that really didn't feel good. It felt very suffocating and like demeaning, but I didn't realize that until I had my tantrum. And it wasn't a completely internal one. I mean, I didn't cry or lash out or anything, but I just realized like, oh, I deserve to feel better. I deserve to have what I want. There's no reason why this has to be like this. And it doesn't even mean I need to really do anything. I just need to allow myself to feel that and the deservability and either people will rise up to meet me or they won't, and that's their choice, but it's all me. So I just need to feel worthy and deserving that and stop feeling suffocated and fighting. And I knew in that moment when I was feeling bad and having that epiphany, like I put so much more in my vortex, in my future to expect. We don't need to go into that whole thing, but I'm doing a great thing by feeling bad and by feeling good. Okay.
Amen. Yes. And but you allowed yourself, it was the repressing of the tantrum. It was the justifying, I'm going to say mediocrity, right? Or justifying like sort of you have asked for this next level you. And then you're sort of like you're looking around, not now, because you already had your tantrum, but you wouldn't allow yourself the tantrum. You were trying to justify, well, mediocre is good. And like, until you're like, no, damn it. I'm taking a stand for excellence or for, the next level. And like, yeah. So I just wanted to high five you on that and say, yeah, I think that's what so many of us do. And it made me think about, which again goes back to the preschool days. But I remember when my kids were young, recognizing how many times in a day they cry. And that when was the last time I cried or cried without apology, right? Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just, right? Like, just let myself cry because I needed to cry. And I remember when I had that moment where I was like, man, I don't know what age they stop crying every day, but it's at least 9. Right? Like, so maybe as an adult, I don't need to cry every single day. Maybe I do. And if that's you, good for you. But recognizing when I need to cry, I don't actually need to like apologize or even have a reason or just like today we're crying and that's fine. And that's the same as the tantrum. It's like, just allow it. And then you can move up instead of like trying to justify or like be in that hold myself back. Right? Hold myself back from a good cry. I don't have to.
Yeah. I kind of feel like it would be beneficial to talk about the timing of all of this because I've also seen people who feel like, okay, I'm not where I want to be. And so I need to force an upgrade. I need to force stop holding myself back. And that never works either. So that could feel like overextending yourself because you feel like you deserve it or you need it to get to where you want to go. Like, I kind of have this motto, if you can't afford something, it's not time yet. And I have not listened to that advice a lot of times, and it always works out. It's not like I've ever died, right? I'm still here. And I don't even fear death, but it's kind of like you're perfectly taken care of, but you're allowing as much as you're letting yourself allow in this moment. And you can't force allowing. You can't force alignment. You can't jam yourself back into alignment in order to allow the things that you want to come in and your dream life to be real. You can't force that. You have to relax into that and allow that. And all the times that I've upgraded, up-leveled, received more awareness, come to new epiphanies, it's always because I've relaxed, I've meditated, I've spoken better to myself, I have let go of any outside pressures that I'm feeling or creating, really. And that's when the breakthroughs happen. So there have definitely been times in my life where I've like tried to force myself into like the next rung, like what do we call it? The step up, the next level, but that doesn't work. You can't artificially create that because there's no real foundation. Even if you could fake it for a couple of months or however long, eventually it would probably crumble because your alignment capacity is not there to support that. And what we want to do is build a life that is vibrationally managed, not physically managed. We are too big for that. We all want way more than we can manage physically. So in order to vibrationally allow the life we want, we need to relax, we need to trust, we need to be relentlessly positive and an unwavering optimism. That is how we build that highway to what we want. And when we do have these moments that are still going to come up of frustration or, banging our head against the wall, it's usually just because we've been fighting our own natural progression. And all I did was I met myself where I really am. I just took the little blinders off. I didn't go farther than I am.
I love that. I love that. And I think that we are taught, and you and I are living it now. And I am so grateful and excited most days that I get to live that way, right? I still get myself in the push harder, do more, or I'll be honest, for me, it's make them different, right? I can definitely still be there, but yeah. I mean, when you really get that your vibration handles everything, and when you really, reckless optimism is faith, right? I can be what most people would be stupidly optimistic or whatever, because I know that what I've asked for is on my way. And so I choose to see whatever shows up as a step in the right direction. I'm yawning about this. Yes. And I love what you said about not forcing it, because when we tend to, because that is, so you and I both for this year, we chose unconditional, as we have words for the year. Rachel's was just unconditional, or was it unconditional love?
Unconditional love, yeah.
Okay, so Rachel's was unconditional love. Mine was unconditional abundance. But the truth is, right, it's the bigness of all of it is it's unconditional, right? And when you get to the core of it, it's all unconditional love and abundance. It is, we live from this unconditional overflow. And where am I going with this? I really did have a point. It's gone. So I'm just going to make this face for a minute while I think about it. Unconditional. I don't know why the pigs now. Just that when you were talking, that's what kept coming up is I can relax when we're pushing, when we try to push ourselves to the next level, to the next rung. We're living from this place of should. I want this, so I should, and should is a condition, right? It's but when we truly live from this place of unconditional love, unconditional abundance, unconditional acceptance that what we've asked for is coming to us, that we are living vibrationally and we are feeling good and relaxed, and therefore everything is working out and we're just in a place of catching up with ourselves. Rachel uses that all the time. You're just catching up with yourself. You've asked for, you're already here, but your life still looks like it's here, but you can't force here. Just keep feeling good wherever you are, and that will happen. And it's really counter to what most of us have been taught. We were just on a call the other day, and we had a friend who was when I first started in my business, I looked at this blueprint and that blueprint, and and then there was this light bulb moment where she was that's not my blueprint. I have my own blueprint, and it is unique to me. And that's what happens is when we stop living from should and okay, I made this decision, so now I got to do the thing. But we just make the decision and then just stay feeling good. That, if you're not watching us and you're just listening to us, you have no idea what I'm doing, but you quickly rise. That's the quantum leap, right? It happens so fast. It's so much faster than if we tried to push it or checklist it, or I know Rachel's a fan of the checklist, but logically draw out the rungs and do this by Thursday and that by we just relax. You might find that you're on an elevator instead of stairs.
Yeah. I mean, another thing that can happen that can kind of get us stuck in looking in the wrong direction is we will live our limiting beliefs if we don't calibrate them. And we don't need to get stuck in judgment of that or clearing of that or fear that it will continue when we're able to see that that's happening. When we can see, like, oh, I just dated that guy again. I just made that money mistake again. I just did that business thing again. When we can see the pattern, then we're no longer in the pattern. So it doesn't mean that you're completely done with it. Like, you can still soothe it, calibrate it, bring it up, but you don't need to investigate it and you don't need to deal with it where it is. You want to deal with it from a higher place. So just take that, because what I see happening a lot, especially with people who are like newer into this lifestyle of like, yeah, be happy and your dreams will come true, which I totally believe in, but sounds a little cringy to say if you're not saying it to people who have already had experience and looked back in their lives and seen like, oh, wait, when I am happy, look at what happens. So there is such a culture of like apologizing and fixing and clearing and cleaning. And I can even hear it in my voice when I'm saying it. That keeps you tied to whatever you're clearing or fixing or cleaning, right? You're staying with it. You're mopping it up. You're like doing the hardcore stuff here. But really, you're here because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see it. And so it's kind of just like looking at it and being like, oh, look at that. I did it again. That's okay because I can see it. I've moved past it. It's all right. I know I'm going in the right direction. I know how to keep going in the right direction just by feeling good and meditating and being nice to myself and moving my body and living in inspiration and doing what I want, honoring my truth and saying no when I feel that boundary being crossed. And right, it's just like reminding yourself, I'm the creator. I'm in charge. It's just me. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm heading, and where I'm heading feels better, not worse. I don't need to go back and clean anything up.
Okay, I have a story about how this just happened, like literally just happened right before this call. So if you guys have been watching us for a while, you know that one of my, I don't even want to call it a limiting belief, but like something that can trip me up sometimes is that there have been people in my life who have reminded me that I need to be appropriate, that it's not appropriate to say that thing to that person, or it's right, like, or yeah, that I have had some issues around, is that appropriate? Even though it feels aligned, it feels right. Like it, so I have done mental gymnastics around appropriateness instead of just being aligned. And what tends to happen when I'm worried about being appropriate is that I create all sorts of issues that didn't need to exist. So right before this call, I was telling Rachel, like, oh my God, I'm so glad we're talking about this, because the topic is, why am I holding myself back? And there is a truth that I need to speak. And it just might be hard to say because I'm worried it might offend someone. I'm worried it might hurt someone's feelings. I'm worried that I will come off in a bad light. And in lots of places, I'm totally cool with, like, I will tell people all the time, oh, you can blame that on me. Like, I'll be the B word on that one. Like, it's fine, whatever. But in this particular instance, like, I don't want to be the bad guy, right? And yet I know in my heart of heart, in my total alignment, I know this is the most loving thing. Like, saying this Anyways, but I've been doing mental gymnastics around it. I was telling Rachel, like, how do I do this in the right way? Like, whenever I start to like try and make the plan for doing it right, I'm in the wrong place. But when I just come from like total love and alignment and just remember, so this is the important thing. And this is what Rachel helped me with, is I'm like, oh my God, you know what? You're so right. Every time that I say something that I was a little worried about saying, it's what everyone else was thinking. It was what everyone needed to hear. It was like, that has been my role in so many circumstances my entire life. So I can just relax. And I can know that when I speak the truth as it wants to come from me, that it's the right thing for everyone, which, Rachel, you have reminded us on a regular basis, if it's right for me, it's right for everyone. And anyways, I just had a conversation that could have been awkward or hard, and I just spent the whole time being in like, okay, what's the truth that wants to come from me right now? And honestly, I didn't say what I thought I was going to say going in. Like, I didn't say that, but what was said was perfect. And it was totally the right thing. And it was because I allowed myself, instead of holding myself back or charging forward with a plan, right? Like, well, this is the next level, got to do it. I just relaxed. I showed up. I paid attention to my alignment, to my own vibration. I was in unwavering optimism during this conversation. It went really, really well. So I didn't hold myself back. And I didn't push myself someplace that I didn't need to be. So anyways, just sharing that story.
There is so much power in not worrying about how you are perceived or what other people might respond to you, like, you know, how other people are going to internalize who you are or what you're saying, and just showing up and being you and speaking your truth. And you also don't know how that's going to inspire people, you know, like I just love that the other day, I don't know the whole story. I didn't watch it. I just heard it from a couple of people and saw the headline, but this man who plays in the NFL decided to just come out casually as the first openly gay NFL player. And from what I heard, he was saying, like, you know, I'm normally a private person, so I didn't really talk about it, but, you know, I'm gay and that's all you're going to get because I'm a private person. And I just, first of all, I love that, because the more we honor who we are and not like overly display it all the time. Like, I don't wear a hat everywhere I go that says I'm psychic, but I also don't shy away from making that known to anyone who wants to know, or just, you know, saying it publicly here and there. And same thing with like my sexual orientation, my gender experience. Like, I just made a video about that on this channel if you want to look into it. But I feel like the more we do show up as ourselves and we let the inspiration guide us into when to share that and how to express that, the more we'll come together as a world of equality and tolerance and unity. Because people just, I think a lot of the like homophobic, transphobic people in the world, they just don't know that they already participate in a world that is so much more diverse than they even realize. I don't think, for the most part, that it's personal. I just think it's ignorance and lack of like community. I think the more we unapologetically are ourselves, even if we don't even really feel that solid in what it is, even if we're questioning who we are in various ways, I think the more honest we are with ourselves and with each other, it's just going to make our world into more of what we want it to be. because there will be no denying that everyone is unique and everyone is living their own experience, and we can still love each other because we are different too, you know?
Yes. Yes, I do know. And that leads me to this idea, which I feel like we were just talking about this, Rachel, about when you judge. Okay, actually, this sidebar. This, I promise I'll get there. But I've been saying this a lot. Like, if you feel judged, it's because you're judging yourself, right? Because everything is you. And when we judge others, right? When we think that this, we are actually, it's like, they're us too, right? When we judge others, we're judging ourselves. And I was saying how, like, it's so funny to me how threatened people have been around other people's sexual orientation or gender. Like I don't understand why the way someone chooses to dress or present or whatever, like, would threaten my sense of who I am. And I came to the realization, like, oh, if I'm judging that, it's because I'm holding my own self back, right? Like, if I am like looking out and judging, I'm going to use, there was the story I saw was of a little boy who liked to wear a dress, and everyone was wanting to like judge him or put labels on him or like whatever. And he was just this little guy. He's like, I just like wearing dresses. Like, like that's just how it is right now. I enjoy this pink taffeta dress, and so I'm going to wear it. And but people who are judging that or have fear around that or like whatever, it's like, oh, because they don't love themselves fully. They don't trust themselves fully. They have like all sorts of like internal fears about their own life and self. But ultimately, like, they're holding themselves back. In whatever story, they are feeling like it isn't safe to be fully me. Therefore, it's not safe for me for you to be fully you. And I don't know why I'm saying that now, except for that it does come from them holding their own selves back.
Yeah, and that could make it maybe a little bit easier for you to feel comfortable, because when you look out into the world and you think, oh my God, if I wear this today, if I do this today, people are going to throw hate at me physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever you feel. Maybe it's easier for you to imagine them just as hurting beings and having more compassion for yourself and for them. I mean, I know it still happens. I'm not saying like you're not going to get any kind of negative repercussion if you are fully yourself. I know that there's some hateful people out there for sure, but I feel like living our truth when we're inspired to, again, we're not going to be steered in the wrong direction. And that might include some negative experiences. But I think ultimately, when we're true to ourselves, we can't go wrong. And that comes with, I just had a video with Intimate Alien about, like, I was feeling timid around some specific areas of self-expression. And I realized, like, that feeling timid, it doesn't just apply to where we think it does. It applies everywhere. How you do one thing is how you do everything. I know I heard David Nagel say that, so he might have come up with that, but it's really good. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're holding yourself back in one area, it is absolutely affecting your whole life. And again, it's not to beat yourself up about that. It's just to realize, well, what would it take for me to feel better about this? How could I feel more safe expressing myself in this way? Or how could I move this forward in a way that honors my truth while still not feeling like I'm pushing? Negotiate with yourself, right? It doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. Like, you are not an all or nothing being. You're growing, you're evolving, you are plugged in, and everything can work out for you if you feel deserving of that to be true. And it's just going to be one step after another. So there's never any reason to feel bad about where you are.
Rachel put herself on mute, so I guess that means it's my turn to talk. I don't have anything to add to that, though, Rachel. Like, I don't have anything to add to that. That's it. That's it. And I said I don't have anything to add to it, and then I said and. She knew it was coming. She didn't even unmute. How you do anything, or you said one thing. I've always heard it. How you do anything is how you do everything. That can be a hard pill to swallow sometimes, right? That can be something where we want to believe, no, but in this compartment of my life, I'm this way. But in the rest of my life, I'm that way. But the truth is, if you're holding yourself back in one area of your life, how you do anything is how you do everything. You're holding yourself back in other areas of your life as well. Or I guess I'm thinking about, okay, no, I'm just going to say, or if you're holding yourself back in one area of your life, it's holding the whole of your life back. Like your life, we always talk about it can be better than you ever imagined. It can be better than you ever imagined. And you're holding yourself back because you're afraid, right? You're afraid that if you show up fully in that area of your life, it will collapse the rest of your life. It will have repercussions around the rest of your life. This is leading to, like, when you were talking about, there might be repercussions for being fully yourself. And I'm thinking about like YouTubers who have come out, or like they've shared something online that they were afraid to share, but then they got to a place where they're like, I have to share. And they did get hate, but most of them also got a lot more love than hate, right? Like almost every time, I'm going to say every time, every time you step into your truth and your alignment and you integrate all areas of your life, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Only good can come from that.
I know. I'm thinking of Bruce / Caitlyn Jenner at the moment, and I'm not speaking to their like political views or who they are as a person, just the story of what happened. But so Bruce Jenner was an Olympian and like super high achiever, but had a big secret and wasn't comfortable with themselves in public. Went on to have a great life, right? Like children, family, love, riches, all the good stuff. But they didn't feel like themselves. And so there was a lot missing there. Like you can have all the trappings of success and still feel miserable. So that's kind of like, I think Carrie phrased it even better, of like when you hold yourself back in one area, it holds your life back. But then she decides to be herself and like physically transform into the woman that she always knew she was, and to make peace with the world. Like, yes, here I am, I'm Caitlyn. And her relationship with her kids got better. And I know there was a lot of like weird stuff in the middle of that, but now she's running for governor and feeling her oats. And like, I just love that. Again, it happened in perfect timing for her. Like nothing was lost. She's living a great life. And she's also, because she's more on like the Republican scale, look at the inclusion that she's probably inspiring in a whole neck of the woods that would not normally, I'm not saying all Republicans are like that, but would not normally as a whole talk about or confront any of those kinds of issues.
Yeah, and this leads to last week's conversation, or the week before. She took baby steps. It wasn't like one day she's Bruce Jenner or he's Bruce Jenner. And the next day she's fully transformed at the ESPY Awards, like standing for all trans people. Like she had micro leaps of faith that felt amazing, or felt like massive leaps. And I don't know the whole story behind it, but I know that I'm going to get my pronouns wrong because I don't know it like when, but Bruce was dressing up as a woman and wasn't ready to be seen that way. Didn't feel ready to be seen that way. And then was discovered that way. And he didn't die. Right? Like nothing bad happened. And I believe I think it was one of the Kardashians, I think it was Kim, who like, she was the one who knew first and she still loved him. She was confused sure. But like their relationship evolved. And then there was someone else. And then there was and like there were baby steps involved in this massive leap of faith. That's all I'm saying. Baby steps, right?
Yeah, last time we talked about baby steps. So if you want to watch that, go to the Intuitive Art channel and see that. So you guys, I think what we're trying to say here is you're perfect. Everything's always working out for you. And knowing that you are capable of more is an amazing thing. And it means you're on your way there. It just means that you don't need to look down on where you are now, and that won't help, but embrace where you are now. And now is perfect. Now has been helping you discover even more of what you want and match yourself. Like, talk to yourself like you have it all. Talk to yourself like you've allowed it all. Talk to yourself like you deserve it all. And find times to get present with yourself so you can have that awareness of like, hey, look, I did outgrow that. Hey, look, I'm so much farther than I was giving myself credit for. That's when things really start rolling for you.
I'm going to have a very weird closing conversation right now, but it is around key performance indicators. So I work with a lot of women who are in business and they're tracking their numbers and they're, in their marketing, they're like, what's working, what isn't working, where do I need to put my focus? What do I need to pay attention to? And so they have these key performance indicators like, I only posted 6 times this week. And as a result, I got less leads than I generally get or whatever. And what I have discovered is that the key performance indicators that I need to track in my life and business are totally like what we're talking about. Did I meditate today? Did I move my body today? Did I get to spend time living in my gifts and talents? Did I relax today? Like, these are the things that I track in my life. And as I started doing that religiously, and it really did start, I think I was doing it beforehand, but like, as you and I started doing aligned up levels, I was like, this is my job. This is the only thing that matters. Maybe I was doing it like 6 months before that. Either way, talk about this, like lifting, like things have sped up. My life keeps getting better and better. Like, we are not just talking fluff. Like, this is.
Yeah, Carrie's income just doubled and mine has been this year. And like, this is the real work because we are the creators. Internal matches external. It's not what we do out here that makes a difference. That's what we do in here that makes a difference. And so, yes, my metric this year has been love. Is this lighting me up? Am I in love with this? That's it. That's cut through. And it's been working.
So I just want to say, like, we shit you not. Like, this is real. And it's exceptional. And I want to love you where you are because I spent 10 years knowing this, but not really letting myself know it. Like, I was baby stepping. I was like Caitlyn Jenner being discovered by Kim, but another 10 years before you know what I mean? Like, I was baby stepping, like very, very slow. I forget where I was going with that, so I'll just stop there.
You were loving them where they are. And
Yes. Yeah. So I just want to love you where you are, because wherever you are is perfect and you are enough in there. I think what really slowed me down was my judgment of like, why can't I do this manifesting thing better? Why can't I love myself more? Like, I was asking myself the wrong questions. What I need to ask is like, why is my life so freaking amazing? Why am I loving myself so much, like on a regular basis? So just wherever you are, the answer is self-love and acceptance.
yeah, that's the secret magic, guys. And thanks, Zach. He says, thank you both for dropping more quality goodness today. Our pleasure. Thanks for coming. And yeah, it's as two very ambitious people, from us to you, you will achieve everything you want and more if you relax and know you're deserving of what you want.
Yeah, that's what happened for me. Like, I had to shift my ambition. I feel like we had this conversation too about like, I'm relaxing so hard right now. Like, I am doing leisure like a boss, right? Like, we had to like take our ambition to this stuff. And if you need support in it, oh my God, come join us. intuitiveart.com/membership. You can find either of us and reach out to us, but really we're talking multi-dimensional abundance. This is what we want for you in your life. And it's what we help people with in our coaching group. So if you haven't yet checked that out, intuitiveart.com/membership, you'll thank yourself.
Yeah, and if code event still works, I'm going to give it to you guys because we're in a new place today and you guys deserve it. So if you want to be coached by me and Carrie, an intimate alien, and join a group of peers who are skyrocketing to amazingness and beyond, then yeah, intuitiveart.com/membership. Use code event to save some money while it's still available. I don't know when it's not going to be available. So yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming, guys. We love these conversations. We love to see you. Thank you, Guillaume and Shakira and Crazy Pup and Phyllis and Zach. We love you all, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.